Great. Good evening, Sandites. Welcome to the May version of District Dialogue. Hopefully you can hear me because I think last time we had some sound issues.
We did.
When we
I think we've got
started.
that fixed this.
I think they're fixed this time. So I have a friend that's texting me right now just to make sure that we have sound. So I'm going to kind of pay attention to my phone. Got some topics tonight. It really is the Sean Beard show tonight. Honestly, he's going to look at him. He's going to react
After like slides 1, 2, 3, and 4.
after slide 1, and we're going to be talking about our summer program. So I have Sean Beard here with me, Guide Assistant Sup for Teaching and Learning, and then of course Kristen Arnold, Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources and Student Services. So thank you guys for joining tonight. I think I have some exciting news for everyone tonight. So we're going to just kind of dig into the program. We've got a lot to talk about this evening, and we'll start with our relaxed health guidance. So I'm pretty excited about that piece. This is a slide I hope that you're seeing on the screen. I'm going to be looking up at the big screen in front of me. So if I appear to be gazing into the sunset, that's really not what I'm doing, although I'd like to maybe. Basically, those guidelines, as they have been for the whole year, are located on our website at www.sandites.org. We have 2 things posted, so I don't want to confuse anybody, but the final guidance for the 2021 school year is one of the first links that you see. And if I didn't think it would really mess Sean up in the slideshow, I'd make him go there, but you can see it on the web. You don't have to do that.
Okay.
You can see it on the website. It's pretty easy to find. Some pop-up window, and there's a couple of links, but the first one is that final guidance that the Board of Education voted on in the May meeting. It's the guidance that will help us wrap up the school year. I first have to say thank you to our parents. Oh my goodness. I have received very few phone calls about the protocol for this year, honestly. And I don't, Ms. Arnold, you take a lot of those.
No, I haven't received a lot this year. I mean, there's parents that have concerns, and a lot of people, we've kind of talked through it on why we're doing what we're doing. But other than that, it hasn't been fun. But to answer that, it's the world of 50-50 that we live in. But with that said, it's gone well. Our parents have been great, and the board and teachers, and just trying to get through it like everybody else.
Absolutely. So I guess the first thing we should do is to say thank you for
Definitely
being a part of a school year that's been full of challenges and lots of unpredictable circumstances. And as a community, you guys have just been right there with us. I would commend our Board of Education as well for trying really hard to vote their hearts, do the right thing. And again, your 50-50 rule is exactly the case, because for every person that feels one way strongly, there's another person that feels exactly the opposite in a very strong way as well. So we did.
I do have to tell you though, I've gotten a lot of phone calls just commending us for Sand Springs Public Schools just being in session as much as we were this year. I know there's still larger districts that are only going 4 days a week, or they're still continuing with that AB schedule throughout the remainder of this year. Just to keep that continuity for the remainder of the year. But we were sitting here having a conversation about how many days that we've been out because of
strictly
COVID, not the weather and some other things when we did distance learning. And I think you jotted down some numbers.
Good. So 9 days for secondary sites. That's it. And 3 days for our elementary sites, not including the weather, which is not a COVID reason. So,
or broken pipes.
Or broken,
what have we got doing there?
Or broken pipes, that's for sure. So honestly, so proud of our team. If you get an opportunity to run into one of our teachers, staff members, administrators, just tell them you're proud of them. Give them a pat on the back, because it's been a trick this year. We were able to relax some of our mandates at our May meeting. Very excited about that. We have 8 more days of school left. And so we are still dealing with some COVID cases and quarantines. And I know there's another link on the screen that I won't make them go to yet. But we did relax our mask mandate for outdoor events. So we held a graduation last week that was completely mask free. I know our elementaries are getting ready to do some field days and some fun outdoor experiences, which will be mask free.
If it's not raining.
Sorry, elementary. But I will say that for the most part, just hold on, let's leave it there. For the most part, outside with our elementary kids have been mask-free this entire year. So we did relax a lot of the visitor restrictions. And so we held a scholarship assembly at Charles Page High School a week ago with lots of parents in the room, handing out some really great awards for our students, our seniors that are going to be going off to college and such for the next school year. With a lot of visitors. So I know we are having assemblies. Our awards assemblies are happening from now until the end of the year. And so we're trying to put protocols in place where we're not worried about the transmission of COVID-19. But at the same time, we're welcoming visitors back in the building, which feels so good. And then you may or may not have noticed there was a relaxation in the spacing requirements for students in the classroom. So it's starting to get back to normal. We're seeing this definite trend toward fewer COVID cases, but there are still some. So I know Sean's got the data pulled up, and I believe if you look at,
Well, and if you notice us tonight, we're not wearing masks.
we have
We're about 3 feet apart. Yeah, we've all been vaccinated, both vaccinations. so.
absolutely. So you look at our current data. This was posted yesterday actually, and this reflects last Friday's data. So we were still working through 4 positive cases as a district with 88 quarantines. So we don't want our kids to miss those end of the year fun activities. So, part of the reason for staying a little bit structured with our guidance, but again, really trying to go forward and trend toward relaxing, which is what we're getting ready to do as of May 27th. So I don't know how much trouble it is to remove that from the screen. So here we go. So summer guidance, you guys, the big news for tonight is beginning May 27th, masks are not going to be required. So just recommended if people want to wear them, that's great. Not required. We know that our data is showing about 60% of our teachers and staff have been vaccinated. We did a pretty small survey with our folks about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And we know that that's a pretty good rate, honestly. And then I'm sure the public knows that the Pfizer vaccine has been approved for kids ages 12 through 17, or actually 16. I guess it was available for 16-year-olds prior to then.
Yeah.
And so we're looking at it, had been approached by a few people. Spoon Drug is one of them that has offered to do a vaccine clinic for our students this summer. So we're in the some pretty serious conversations about trying to make it easy for folks to bring their children, if they so choose, to have access to that vaccine. So that's also exciting. Also, the big news is we're planning to continue that guidance into the 21-22 school year. So I've gotten some questions about, what is the new school year going to look like? And it looks very positive that we're going to be continuing that for a recommendation, but not mask required into the new year. So again, the trend that we're seeing to the positive is really making us all feel very blessed that we're kind of through, hopefully, the end of that pandemic phase and we can get back to normalcy. So that's a really good thing. I want to talk, if you don't mind, Sean, before we get into summer programs,
Sure.
Talk about the federal stimulus dollars that are coming into the district. And what that's allowing us to do is some pretty phenomenal programs for our kids, and then some much needed upgrades to our HVAC pieces and buses for our new school year. But as you probably don't know, but the 5th bullet is, how does this document that we've kind of lived and breathed all year long relate to those stimulus dollars? And basically, a return to learn plan is required. So you're going to see some sort of health guidance. We called our strategies for startup this year. So we have to have, by federal requirement, some sort of plan that takes us into the new year that we review to meet the requirements for federal COVID relief dollars. So you'll see it. It's not going to go away in terms of being a plan for like distance learning and all those learning modules or models that we had this year. But something I wanted to make sure you knew, just because you'll see it on the website. But again, the big, bold 4th bullet is really the messaging we want to make sure that people are clear on tonight.
Just really quick, Superintendent Darkey, can you explain just a little bit about federal dollars? And there are some requirements tied to that to make sure that we're following health demands or whatever, and they've relaxed that too, what we're following. But just a little bit about the federal program dollars and what we had before. We had these new funds that they're giving us, just kind of an amount, and what all that goes to. I mean, where would we be without it?
So they're pretty flexible. The three words, Sean, respond to, prevent.
Where's Claudia Smith?
I know, right? She's our federal programs director, but
Probably one.
basically your place, she probably isn't going, I've told her that a million times. But basically, the dollars are meant to be in response to COVID-19. And so that's why when I said we'll be able to do some HVAC upgrades, that's an acceptable expenditure, as well as new school buses that would have current air conditioning, a better filtration system for air quality and all of those things. So that's a big piece of how we're supposed to use our federal COVID relief dollars. And then the broader topic for this evening that we're also very excited about is our summer school plans, because a pretty large portion must be used for recapturing learning. And so you may or may not have seen Superintendent Hoffmeister, our state superintendent, kind of did a press conference that we were able to be involved in. They really talked about what our goal is for getting students back in the fold of coming to school. I've talked probably ad nauseum about the large percentage of our kids that were a part of our virtual academy this year, including, up to 300 of our elementary school students at one time. That number is trending down toward kids coming back in person next year, which we are thrilled about. I checked with Mr. Rodert, our virtual school director, and he actually said, I think we have 10 elementary school students registered for a full-time virtual program next year, which makes my heart happy. I would think everyone's in agreement that in-person learning for our little guys is much better. So lots of exciting things going on. So we're going to shift, unless you guys have more to talk about with our Return to Learn Health Guidance, into summer programming. So it really is kind of the Sean Beard show tonight, because he's worked so incredibly hard.
Did you wear your tap shoes?
I did
No tap shoes.
No tap shoes. Right.
But really capturing what our plan is for the summer, and kind of an attempt to make sure we're talking about learning strategies, but also adding a little element of fun
Sure.
to the summer. So Sean, we'll let you shift.
And this first slide that we're going to look at actually talks about our RSA summer programs. RSA is the Reading Sufficiency Act, and actually this funding source on these next two slides is a little bit different than what we've been talking about with federally funded ESSER funding. But
Reading sufficiency has been on state law
It
for some
has.
time.
yes, and so this directly impacts our elementary kids, and we actually have two programs that we are going to run in June. The RSA Summer Reading Program, which is designed for K-2 students in district, and the idea there is that we would work with those kids to improve their reading skills. Whereas at the same time, we're going to be running an RSA Summer Reading Academy, which is really what the RSA law is about. It's going to be addressing reading skills gaps in those 3rd through 5th grade students, and this is based on referral only. So the kids that are in this program have been referred to the program by their classroom teachers based on reading scores that we've received from Ames Web. So
You want to explain to Ames Web?
yeah, Ames Web is the screener tool that we use 3 times a year to test our students to see where they are at different points in the school year, to see if they've shown improvement in their reading skills. And so based on winter test scores, kids were referred to the 3rd through 5th grade Reading Academy. And then we're currently going through our spring testing right now. So we may have some more kids that are referred at that time after we get those scores back. But currently, we are actually, more than we ever have been, full. We actually have a wait list going. So if you were referred by a teacher, or if you received the link to get into the K through 2 program and you didn't get in, go ahead and fill that out, because we are generating a wait list. And so if a spot opens up and we can move your child in from the wait list, we can do that. This program is going to be in June because of some scheduling issues. It will start June 1st through 4th, which is a Tuesday through Friday, and then it will resume June 7th through 24th, Monday through Thursday. And it's 7:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. That includes student drop off, breakfast, and then student pickup right after. So,
I've talked about this before, Sean, but we compared winter benchmarks from 2000, I'm gonna get this wrong, 20 to 2021, the January 20 to January 21.
Yes.
I think I might have said that last month, but I was pretty impressed. You can tell when districts are in school because what were the findings?
we showed the same level of improvement this year as we did in 19 and 20. So we were really pleased with that, given the fact that we've been through a lot this past year.
Yeah.
I mean, whereas we would have fully expected there to be a little bit more learning loss as far as reading sufficiency goes, we actually showed that we were on par with where we have been for the past 2 years.
And when you think about our kids, the previous year that were out kind of March through the end of the year, and you know, we did the best we could with just kind of supplementing what they had through teachers and stuff, but that really is phenomenal for overall gains. And I know teachers, man, they worked that hard this year. It's like, we love it when they can make a year and a half growth, but to hold those skills, they did phenomenal this year.
Absolutely.
Great.
And parents.
That's right.
Now, at the same time in June, we also have our Project Summer Spirit program, which was actually funded by the 21st Century Grant. It's for grades K through 5, and it's for in-district students that are part of Garfield STEAM Academy and Northwoods Fine Arts Academy. The object of this one is to improve academics, and the focus that we have this year is on the historic Route 66. So there's going to be a lot of fun activities driven by that theme. And just as we previously said, currently this one is also full. We've had a huge response this year as well. So again,
You're gonna see currently full.
Mhm.
There's a big yellow banner across these slides, but we create a wait list because what I do know is that sometimes kids don't come.
that's true.
And
I have
so,
to change.
right, and we're still attempting to get teachers on board as well. So
Absolutely, yeah.
we're still encouraging teachers to apply so that we can hire them. Current Sand Springs Public Schools employees for sure, but then we're trying to incorporate even some teacher
That's true.
recruitment programs.
We do have a Sandite Summer Learning posting on our employment webpage. So if you're a certified teacher or if you're a non-certified staff member and you're watching, go to our website, go to our employment page and click on
Retired
that link.
teacher. And a
Retired teachers, absolutely.
we're shamelessly plugging any kind of.
Maybe you're a teacher ed student or a college program
Right.
that's looking to start the year.
And if you're not, and you're listening to that, you know someone,
That's true.
absolutely give us a call.
Come on, come on.
Yes. So Ms. Arnold, you've actually been a part of the 21st Century Grant Program for some time.
Right,
Not this year, but previously.
right.
So tell them a little bit of information about the cycle of the grant, how that works. You sit on the committee this year. Correct.
It is generally a grant that we write. It lasts for 4 years, but because we let out early and we had some money left over, the State Department of Education graciously let us continue for another year to finish up the cycle and some of the funds that we had left. Two phenomenal people, Jamie Conrad and Claudia Smith, worked on the grant, have submitted it next year. I have a lot of parents that will ask me though, like, well, my child goes to Angus and we want to be a part of that. We want to do that. Well, when the grant is written, it really is, we have to look at all the things and like most needs. And so when we wrote the grant, that's originally where it was written for, was Garfield and Northwoods. And so that's how we kind of stuck with it. We hope that in the future to maybe look at adding some additional grants for some of the other sites. But right now, man, if we could just get one, and we'd be happy. At one point in time, we were scared they were going to cut the whole thing. So there's going to be no funding.
This is the last
Year.
year of the current grant cycle.
Right.
So they've submitted the new grant.
Lots of work.
Lots of work. And we should find out, they're telling us sometime in June, we will know if that program can continue for the next 5 years. So fingers crossed, everyone. Yeah.
So that Project Summer Spirit is really just for our Garfield and Northwood students. And like I said, a lot of parents from the other sides are like, well, we want to be a part of it. And I think a couple of years ago, they had opened it up, but now they're like, no, you can only have these that were written into the grant. And kids loved it. Like teachers loved it. Their kids would go. They do tons of fun activities. They have people come in, like I said, you said they're historic Route 66, and
Theme this year, like
that is
it's always.
It's the theme for this.
but they have some really exciting fun things to learn about this year. It's not, it is some academics, but it's a lot of fun too.
Transportation, I really don't know the answer to this question, Sean.
Transportation is provided for all these programs that we're covering
Okay, so
for the elementary and middle.
transportation is provided. That's a big deal because we didn't used to do that.
Not door to door, it would be at a stop, but
And-
definitely,
Breakfast and lunch.
And breakfast and lunch.
and snack.
And snack.
Probably a snack. Depends on how long the day lasts.
No, there was a Facebook post. I'm sorry, I'm going off
Depends on-
topic here. But did you see the Facebook post about needing Sandite summer snacks?
That was, yes, that was for this
It's
program.
a real thing.
That is, yes, that was for this program.
Sandite
So there
summer
is a
snack.
snack.
So there's a plug, another plug.
Shameless
Yeah.
plug. If you'd like to help us out with snacks for the summer, we'd love.
Healthy snacks.
This program is a full day program.
Correct.
So that's where it differs a little bit from the RSA Summer Reading Program. So it is a little bit different, but there is breakfast and lunch provided and
Very good.
transportation.
Again, wait list. So if you're not registered, do that. You'll be on a wait list, and we're working really hard to make sure we can accommodate.
And I have to say, at the time that we scheduled this district dialogue, we didn't anticipate that these programs would fill up as fast as they
So
did.
let's talk about fill up. Like,
Yeah.
what does that mean? Interpret that into numbers.
So as far as numbers are concerned, the idea here is that we want to keep our student to teacher ratio down low enough so that your student can get the proper one-on-one attention that they need from the teacher working with them. So as far as addressing those skill gaps and looking at improving academics before the new year, we try to keep those numbers low. So we'd like to keep them somewhere between 8 students per teacher, or, if we have to, we've climbed as high for this next program as 15, right, per teacher, which we'd like to get that one down as well, because it actually filled up way faster than we thought it would. So
And we'll get there, but I can't wait
Yes.
to announce the number of students.
There's some tired teachers that are just looking forward to that vacation. And so we're just trying to reel them back in and say, are you sure you don't want to do this? So
it's going to be an exciting time. So
It is.
if you're a teacher and you haven't applied,
You should do that.
You should do that right.
they work all summer anyway, most of the time for something else. So
Yeah, if you're going to be in your classroom, just be in your classroom with kids.
make some money.
Oh, and so we announced where those were at. So here's summer camp. So we've got the locations.
So yeah, the Sandite Summer Camp is funded through our ESSER 3 funds, and
That's the federal stimulus.
exactly. And this is for current pre-K through 8th grade students in district. And the focus of this one is a little bit different from the 21st Century Grant, but still we're trying to keep an element of fun in there. So it's summertime, we should have a little fun, right? We're going to be focusing on math and ELA activities and some STEM lessons, but we're also going to be taking some field trips. Some of the admin leads have planned things like the Gathering Place, the Tulsa Aerospace Museum. As far as STEM lessons, I know the middle school is planning on doing some STEM lessons focused around the STEM challenge on the last day of classes. And that's something that we're going to try to let the elementary kids watch as the middle school kids compete. So it's a little fun day.
Drop teacher names, but I feel like we dropped some teacher names.
That's favoritism. No?
I'm not going to do it, but we have some really great teachers that are teaching in our
Yeah,
programs
we
this
do.
summer. And
Absolutely.
so, I'm
Top
so
notch.
excited.
So, Mr. Beard, let me ask you though. So I'm too old to have a 3rd grader now, but let's say that I had a 3rd grader and my child really struggled in reading this year, and comprehension was like everything else. They're pretty good, but that comprehension, man, they just can't seem to score high. Like, will it just be like everything they're going to teach them, or will they focus on kind of those individual skills where there's
That's the beauty of this program. The idea is that we'll use some of the data from our Ames web test, which we talked about as our screener for elementary. And for middle school, we'll be using exact path results, which is a similar process. It's a diagnostic tool
Those are results that we had already.
already.
Yeah, it's not like they're going to come to summer camp and go, oh,
So
I gotta take a
Yeah,
test.
that's not,
Yeah, all the time. Last thing I want to do is go into summer school and have to take a
or
test
right,
off the
that's
bat.
not good.
Oh,
So,
come on, Mr. Beard, you raise your hand and say, is our
oh
homework
yeah,
due?
please give me a test and give me technology to use. But no, we already have those results. We actually will be pulling reports on even the students that are enrolled in the program and providing those to the teachers. So the teachers know exactly where, what to address with that child. And then we'll be using different tools at our disposal as well as some hands-on activities to help them address those lessons. Sorry.
I'm writing those down. because
I noticed that.
I want to say, so it's not about you.
Now, I will say this, this is an all-day program. It is a little bit different. It's located, there's an elementary program for pre-K through 4 at Northwoods Fine Arts Academy and a pre-K through 4 program at Pratt, as well as a 5th through 8th grade program at Clyde Boyd Middle School 6th grade center.
The idea was to get our 5th graders
Definitely.
inside Clyde Boyd Middle School before school starts. So they'll get 3 weeks of
3 weeks.
being in the building and yeah.
They'll get to know the new building, get acclimated to it. And throughout this process, just like with the June programs, this is July 12th through 30th, but it's all day. We will be providing breakfast and lunch as well as transportation for those that have requested it. So
we have across the district, I like to say, we have an average of around 400 kids per class. So around 400 8th graders, around 400 9th graders, give or take. Our program so far, when you say it's currently full, there's a wait list.
there are currently, and student teacher ratio was a big thing.
Right.
That caused us to put it on a wait list, but we're currently at 376 students.
376
That's
they've said already.
It's very big.
It's a big, seriously, our children have
That's
enrolled.
amazing. When you sent it out that first day, like they started coming in like gangbusters.
It was, yeah, within an hour, it had already leaped by, way more than I had thought. And each day I was just going, okay, we can do this. We can do this. So, we can.
Yeah.
And so it's really climbed very rapidly and we hope that we can get some additional staff and maybe allow that wait list.
So breakfast, lunch, a snack at this camp as well,
Yes,
provided by Child Nutrition
yes.
for free.
That's
The
what
snack is going to be through donations, but
but we'll get them.
Right.
Somebody will.
But for free. And also, I guess a little nugget of information would be that free lunches will continue through
Yes.
through the next school year. So parents hear that. So free lunches,
just for everyone.
not for Sean,
Oh, okay. That's not what I meant.
for the student.
Everyone.
Yes, for
Every
every
student.
student. That's correct.
But we still need for them to fill the form.
Absolutely. You have to fill the form. That
Yes.
helps build our federal.
Because that way it helps us to keep it free.
Right, absolutely.
It helps us with a ton of resources in the district. So
But much,
Technology.
400, so around 376, so
Yes.
almost 400 students between 3 different sites. So it's not quite the same at each site, but still, you're talking a very reduced number of students. Meaning that's the whole point.
more one-on-one attention.
Right, exactly. So good
I think
stuff.
it's a 5th grader too. What a great opportunity to meet some other kids from some of the other schools.
Right.
Because, those 5th graders
First time they're together.
funneling together that are getting ready to go to the 6th grade center
It's true.
together. And so they make some new friends, with these summer activities and opportunities. And so that way they can start reaching out and making some new friends.
Now, I do have to apologize because I did not get the chance to make the last slide. So I
Are you gonna
think
do that right now?
I'm going to talk about it if that's
Or you
okay.
can talk
Yeah.
about it.
So is that
And then I'm
okay?
gonna do a shameless plug.
So before you do your shameless plug,
We're gonna talk about the last slide.
it is about the high school summer school program.
Oh, right. Thank you.
So Mr. Roeder, our virtual academy director, would probably slash my tires if I didn't talk about this. We will be holding a June and July session for 9th through 12th grade summer school. So if you have a student that is missing credits through failure of a course, we'll be offering credit recovery during June and July. So if you want information about that, you can check our district webpage. And the great thing about it is we're going to be offering that service where we normally charge per course for a credit recovery class. We're offering that for free this year because of our federal funding. The only charge may be if you're a student who wants to capture a course for first time credit, meaning that you've never attempted the course before and you're taking it for the first time. There would be a fee for that, but otherwise,
Credit recovery.
credit recovery is free this summer.
So really the slogan for this evening is free for free, free.
Free,
It
free,
really
free.
is free.
Free for free, free.
Free.
Oh, my goodness. So credit recovery it's been offered.
It has been offered
In the
in the
past,
past,
right.
but one of the reasons that we've charged for it in the past is for staffing issues.
Sure.
I mean, it becomes an issue to make sure that we have the teachers on staff, the tutors on staff, Mr. Roder there as well, to provide that assistance to kids. So, but again, through federal funding, we're able to make that free.
So I would add, and I'm writing notes down because I don't want to forget anything. Summer's very exciting. This is so exciting, actually. We have had a question about students that maybe reside in Sand Springs, but are not our students. I would say if you're out there and you're a student of Sand Springs, put plug in for how great our teaching and learning is here. But we are reserving spots in our summer programming for students that are actually either currently enrolled or will be enrolled for the 21-22 school year. If we took all students that would be interested potentially for summer programs, we would be way out of space. And so that's the reason. You might pass that word along as well. We just really are addressing the kids that are enrolled.
I just want to clarify. So currently enrolled means that they went to school this previous year. And then for next year, that means that you have gone online, done the enrollment process, and everything is submitted before those students would be allowed to be able to attend those summer school
Correct.
opportunities.
Yeah, because we have had some
Everything's
students
checked.
that are incoming
Yes.
and we had to go back on the list to verify that they have a sealed enrollment already in place.
Correct. I can't reiterate how important it is to get your pre-enrollment. You're probably saying that wrong now. But if your student is a current student, go ahead and get your pre-enrollment completed. I talked to Ms. Lehuber today. She's our enrollment center director. We have 2,400 students that are sealed, what we call complete. That's pretty good, but there's only 8 days of school left. So if you have not completed your pre-enrollment package, this is a shameless plug. Get that done.
And we have 5,000 students, so we're not quite at halfway. with
Right.
8 days
So-
left.
It's a procrastination thing. I'm the world's worst. There's no doubt about procrastination in that. I was that parent, but truly that will help us a bunch if you can just go ahead and get that enrollment packet complete. It's all online. We've gone over that before. There's a dialogue previously, probably a couple that would go into a lot of detail about that process. And I think we said that there's a waiting list, but if you have not registered, please do that because I'm sure there's a few people.
Yeah, and if you fill out the July enrollment, for instance, you will get a confirmation email that says you are on the waiting list, but we have your demographics for your child so that we know that you're on the waiting list.
The other part of that is once school is out and our administrative assistants, they don't work all summer. So once they're gone, that pre-enrollment process for them to get your child through and sealed is what we call that. Like you've turned in all your documents and they get sealed. That moves to the enrollment center and it just kind of puts a lag on it because it makes it more difficult for you all. Not that they're not great at meeting everybody's needs, but when you figure there's 2,500 students that are going to have to roll through the enrollment center, and as a parent, they're trying to seal documents and get everything together there. Plus the fact that's where the new students go for new enrollment from outside this district, all transfers, all of that. It slows the process up for our current parents. And we've got that streamlined for you. If you don't know what to do or you need some help, call your site tomorrow and they'll get you rolling like that.
They're pretty good.
Yes.
They're very in tune to how that system works. And then unless there's anything to say about summer program, I do have one announcement. We are currently interviewing for a new 6th grade center principal. So we're adding a principal position at the 6th grade. So looking for some autonomy, some ownership in that program. So just, you'll get a new face at the sixth grade center in terms of administration next year. So that's to come. I will put out a little hint in terms of what to look forward to in the 21-22 school year, other than normal, we don't have to have mask required. That's a big deal. But we're really, Sean's been super busy planning the summer program, but we're starting to conceptualize what extended day for learning loss would look like at the elementary level. We're not there yet in terms of planning it and announcing it, but just something that is in some pretty serious talks about extended day, much like we do for our early childhood education center now.
Shameless plug.
Got a lot of those.
So if you know somebody that has a 4-year-old that is in Sand Springs Public School area, or they go to our school district, we start at 4 years old. It's a full day program, multi-million-dollar building built for the littles. They do a fantastic job. The ratio is 20 to 1 with 20 to 2 because they all have a pair, so 20 to 2. It is the best boost educationally for your child that you could ever rely on. So 4-year-olds in a pre-K, it matters. If you're a kindergarten teacher, you can day one tell the ones that went to a 4-year-old program.
We have space for 240 4-year-olds in that building. I believe already our enrollment for pre-K 4-year-olds is up to 180. So that's going pretty quick. So get your babies enrolled. If you know folks that have those 4-year-olds, by all stretches of the imagination, they go to the enrollment center to enroll those students. So, and Morgan Douglas is our principal. She's great. She can also give you information at our early childhood education center. So it's right off 81st Street.
And there's after school care for the 4-year-olds.
Right. So that extended
With the cost, that's not free.
It's nominal though. It's not
Minimal cost.
yeah, it's not free tonight. So it goes to 5 or 5:30, which is very helpful for those working moms and dads. So I would suggest getting on and taking care of that as well. So anything else, you guys, that we can think of?
Free for free.
Free.
That's about it.
We're actually on time tonight.
I have to do a shout out for all the elementary sites and all of the graduates that went back and did the long graduate walk through the halls. It warms my heart when I see those kind of things because those little kids look up to the high school kids like, they're just the coolest thing ever. And so I haven't seen them cheer that loud in a long time, and they just haven't had the opportunity to do those kind of things. So for those graduates that went back and those graduates that I've had, congratulations. I'm glad that you had the opportunity.
I do want to give a shout to the other people that were planning this summer. This is not just me. So Jamie Conrad, Claudia Smith, Jay Roeder, Laura Hamilton, Amy Sanders, and Tiffany Tucker. So they've been working hard on this. So big plans.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think that concludes tonight. If you need more information, definitely about summer programs, Mr. Beard is your guy. Email sean.beard@sandots.org. Phone call would be also welcome. Our main number is 246-1400, and we can get you where you need to be. I think that concludes our program this evening.
And if you know a teacher, contact Sean.
That's right. We'll hire you.
Okay, good night, Sandites. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.